Hello there, I'm Tanya Gabrielle, Wealth Astronumerologist. Welcome to your wealth forecast for April 2015. Now, I'm going to look at early April because there's so much to cover. We're in the middle of an eclipse cycle and so much has happened since last month when we stepped through that 11 gateway in March, had that total solar eclipse. And now April brings another big eclipse moment, this time a total full moon lunar eclipse. And it's made even more potent because this eclipse is part of a rare sequence of 4 consecutive blood moon eclipses. Started last April and ends in September of this year. And all this change and adjustment to new energy means you want to be open. You want to be open for anything because your life will be much easier when you're flexible and receptive. And that brings me to April's numerology code first because that code is all about being open. April is a 12 universal month, and 12 is a number of learning, of acceptance, and of releasing victimization in your life. Now, Saturn is in Sagittarius right now, which is also about learning and expanding your abundance through inner growth. So these two things, Saturn and Sagittarius, and April being a 12 universal month, they really bring your learning curve up a notch. And 12 is very ingrained in us because it represents 12 months of the year, 12 hours of a day, 12 inches in a foot, 12 signs in the Zodiac. And 12 asks you to look beneath the surface, to uncover the wisdom behind your experiences, and that means being flexible. So as you look at life from new angles this month, new perspective, you're going to notice things you'd never considered before. Now 12 adds up to the root number 3. 1 plus 2 equals 3, and 3 is in the triad of self-expression, creation, and emotions. So being creative, being emotionally authentic is really important. Whether it's joy or healing, whether it's happiness or sadness, the only thing that matters is that you express yourself honestly and fully, and whenever you can, of course, with kindness. Now this month, you're shifting your perspective from life happening to you being the experience, owning the experience. So instead of asking, why did this happen to me? What did I do? You're saying, I'm strengthened by this, no matter what it is. So the whole point is you're not coming from a place of lack where you're the victim of circumstances and turning your emotions into drama to feed any hopelessness and pain. That's the shadow side of the number 3 is drama. Instead, you're coming to it from a place of command. You are communicating authentically what you're feeling, and you're commanding to yourself that your feelings be acknowledged. And guess what? Those feelings may be a mix of happiness, of sadness. For example, if you're grieving for a friend or relative who passed away, you may also at the same time be happy that they're free from suffering. So you need to acknowledge both feelings. Don't ever be embarrassed or feel guilty or confused about what seems to be conflicting emotions, because that's just labeling, right? I mean, feelings are always layered. They're filled with different colors, and you want to express the full spectrum of what's constantly shaping the color in your life. So being authentic doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to be aggressive or attack. It means communicating with strength and with kindness. So you can call a spade with total honesty and compassion. When you value every nuance of who you are at every moment, you also value those nuances in others. In privacy, you can release anything you want, right? And you're not hurting anybody. You're just releasing. So the point, especially this month, this 3 universal month, 12-3, you definitely don't want to hold inside any emotions, no matter what they are. Stop labeling what's good and bad, okay? This 12 and 3 is about feelings across the spectrum. It's about being in command of everything that you feel inside your heart. And if you close that up, if you bottle it up, you will feel guilty and resentful. The same goes with what we would label as positive feelings. You want to feel those. You don't want to withhold love. You don't want to withhold joy and passion and peace and laughter. You want to share, right? So your authentic truth is embedded in your feelings. And the numbers 12 and 3 connect you to that emotional center where your heart and soul and mind become one, okay? So when you're really engaged with living on this level, you have no regrets. You're also consistently purging and meeting life as an empty cup, ready for the next moment. Now, this theme is really enhanced by the total lunar eclipse that starts off the month of April. And that eclipse sets the tone for incredible manifestation. Because on April 4th, which is 4/4/2015, that full moon eclipse has the sun in Aries, the moon in Libra, and it actually continues a journey that began last April, when we had the first of 4 consecutive blood moon eclipses, also called a rare tetrad. Now, I often refer back to April 2014 because that's also when a major cardinal grand cross formed in the heavens, and it created a huge internal shift in our lives. And that message of that shift is being reactivated and integrated right now, a year later, this April. So this is the third of 4 blood moon eclipses, like I said. The number 3, the third of 4, activates that number 3 in April, as we know, is a 12 and 3 universal month. So it activates that number 3. And so that number gets even more significant. But then we also have the number 4, which is part of the tetrad, which means 4. And April's eclipse occurs on 4/4. And so we have the number of 3, joy, self-expression, creativity, communication, merging with the number 4, which is about organizing and gelling and manifesting your feelings into something real. Okay, so it's exciting because really everything has led up to this manifestation moment. And now for this eclipse, the sun and moon are opposite each other in the 1st and 7th sign of the zodiac. Aries is the 1st sign, Libra the 7th, and they're at 14 degrees. Now 14 is aligned with 2014. And remember, this eclipse harkens back to that sequence which began in April of 2014. So we've stepped through the 11 gateway to sum up in March. First eclipse was then, solar eclipse. Now we're in April, we got the lunar eclipse. We've reached the point of no return. So you want to reflect on what's happened during these past weeks, which have been such a whirlwind. You want to let your growth inspire you. 4 is serious, right? It reminds us that what's going on deeply takes focused concentration. We need to learn how to place the experiences in a framework of the 4 that makes sense. The 4 provides the discipline for us to frame our feelings and give meaning to them. So the sun is conjunct next to Uranus during this powerful eclipse. And so this is really important because Uranus and Pluto and the eclipse create a T-square. And that is really big. Also because the number 14, 15, and 16 are activated by the eclipse, Pluto at 15 degrees, Uranus at 16 degrees. And this sequence sets up a really potent opening for us again, because 14, 15, 16 moves you from freedom to love to inspiration in spirit. And in a T-square involving a full moon eclipse with Uranus and Pluto, the energy is so motivating about breaking free, about freedom, about fully integrating your power. Remember, the date of the full moon eclipse adds up to 16, that universal date. So empowerment through inspiration is the theme right now. And so what makes me even more happy is that this eclipse forms a beautiful, harmonious relationship to Jupiter, the planet of joy. And it happens at 12 degrees, which is the number for April. Now that's a beautiful, beautiful, benevolent energy, and it blesses the whole eclipse experience right now. You know, Jupiter's in the process of ending its long retrograde, which means it's stationing at the time of the eclipse. It's slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. It's in the last moments of moving backwards, and it's preparing to switch directions and move forward again. And when a planet stations like this, it becomes extra powerful because everything is in slow motion. So you can see and feel the nuances on a deeper level. And in this case, Jupiter, the planet of joy, is expanding our opportunities to manifest. So the other thing is, any full moon lights up the truth. It shines the light on what you need to see and experience. And in an eclipse, that energy is more intense because eclipses activate everything, magnify everything. And that includes any other planets that are touched. And in this case, it triggers that long Pluto-Uranus square cycle, right? That started 3 years ago. It's changed us to the core. And of course, not to sound repetitive, but you'll want to let go, you want to release, you want to open up. So Jupiter moves forward again on April 8th. So we have the number of infinite opportunities, power, and leadership that symbolizes all of 2015, because 2015 is an 8 universal year. And 8 always activates the internal within you. And Jupiter's in Leo, and Leo is governed by the sun. So it lights up this moment even more. So I know you're going to feel more optimistic, and it's going to really feel like you've come through the first 3 months and have come into a much more calm and beautiful energy. Now the number 16 is activated again. It was activated in the lunar eclipse on the 16 universal date. And now we have Pluto going retrograde on April 16th. And that triggers that breakthrough number again. So mid-month, we're processing through the number 16. Things we experienced during the eclipse cycle are being integrated even deeper. As you can see, April continues the intensity of March, at least for the beginning of the month, the first half. Fortunately, the new moon on April 18th starts dissipating some of the intensity for us, and it ushers in a period where things can settle down a bit. So we can enjoy the abundance. We can relax and process all that inner and outer growth in our lives. I know we've covered a lot today, so I just want you to know that things are going to calm down soon in the next month, and we're in the middle of an eclipse cycle, and that's the most intense part of the year, and it happens twice a year, right? This is the first one of those moments. So hang in there, keep focusing on staying calm and releasing. And I want to share a quote by Buddha that I love. He said, "Let yourself be open and life will be easier." So keep creating, keep opening up. And I'll see you for April's new moon forecast. I'd love to hear from you, by the way. How are you doing during this eclipse cycle? It's really great when we can share our experiences with each other. So please leave me a comment below. And thank you so much for watching.